Good morning. I'm John Ellsworth with Success Strategies. I'm the founder of Success Strategies Incorporated and the creator of the Success Strategies Advantage. And today I want to talk to you about a topic that I call plugging the leaks. Plugging the leaks. I think the way you plug leaks in your business is, first of all, as I stated in my prior video 2 weeks ago, we need to start by knowing the exact cost of production in your operation. You absolutely have to know how much it costs for you to produce 100 pounds of milk in your dairy operation. Once you have diagnosed this cost per hundredweight, the key is to get it as low as possible. There's no other way around it. Get it as low as you possibly can. However, I have a couple caveats that go along with that. Number one, you never want to do anything to cut costs, that will negatively impact your production per cow per day. And number two, you do not want to do anything that will impair the reproductive performance of your herd, because remember, reproduction that's successful leads to pregnant cows, which leads to fresh cows, which leads to better milk flow and the resulting cash flow that goes with it. So those are the things. Keep your costs as low as possible, but never impair your production, milk production, or your reproduction of your herd. Number two, and I talked about this a little bit last time, we need to identify new revenue sources. One of the biggest mistakes that I think people make is that we don't take time to think about things like this. And this isn't the only thing we don't think about in life. We are so busy working in our business that sometimes we just don't have time, and I include myself in the statement too, we don't have time to work on our business, making it better, making it more efficient. One of the suggestions I would make for you is that you need to literally separate yourself, either with, or even if you can't, without key members of your team, and give yourself some time to think. Get away from the daily routines. I do this several times per year, and every time I come back and I go, gosh, why didn't I do this sooner? And I'll tell you why. Because it gives me time to get away from the daily routine, clear my mind, and do this. Number one, I think of things, services, for example, tasks that we should add to help clients. I also think of things, on the contrary, that we should delete. Like, why are we doing this anymore? It's not helping people and it's not helping us time-wise, so should we continue to do it? And number three, it helps you identify new opportunities. And in this case, I'm thinking of new revenue sources for you in your business. Things we should say yes to, things we should say no to. As the saying goes, saying yes to various things got you to where you are today, but getting to the next level depends on learning to say no to some things. And I think that's true in any business, including my own. So, number three, I want you to think about not just new revenue sources, but what does your long-term financing need to be? Can we cash flow these things, improvements that you want to make in your operation, an expansion of your operation that you want to undertake? Can you finance them out of cash flow? Or do we need to identify new sources of long-term financing? Who's going to do that? When's it going to be done? Where's that money going to come from? I'll give you a perfect example, and this is why I called it plugging the leaks. This will help this concept to stick in your mind. This whole process of identifying new revenue sources, after you identified your cost per hundredweight, of course, identifying new revenue sources and stopping excessive expenses, and then finding the right financing is a lot like filling a bucket with water when it has holes in it. Now think about that. You can see yourself pouring water in, but it's coming out these holes. The thing you need to think about is, how do we increase the inflows of water or decrease the outflows to get that bucket filled? And here's the thing to think about it. Those inflows of water are the new revenue sources or the cost cutting that you can undertake. But the outflows are primarily just a reduction in expenses. And that's why you need to start as a benchmark to know what your cost per hundredweight is today. So you don't want to go backwards, you want to progress and move forward. This requires, this requires some serious thought. And so I would suggest think about your cost per hundredweight. Take some time, separate yourselves, and identify from your business for a day or so. Identify some new revenue sources, or at least potential ones. And there's no dumb answer or suggestion in that area. It's just write them all down and then consider them with your team. And number 3, think about what the long-term financing. And that way I know you will succeed in filling that bucket by increasing the inflows of revenue and decreasing those outflows of expenses or debt repayment. This requires, as I said, some serious thought. And if these concepts are of interest to you, I would encourage you to join us starting in April of 2019 for the Success Strategies Dairy Mastermind groups. You can check into that information online at www.success-strategies.com, and we will be happy to have you join us. And I thank you for tuning in today. Again, I'm John Ellsworth with Success Strategies, and I wish you the best of success. Thank you very much.